She turned her face away. It was the first time in 4 days that Uni was smiling. Before that she would just talk into Manuel's beak and stare into space. Wine shut her eyes again and tell herself again that nothing's wrong. After few seconds she went into the room with smile on her face. Unknown to her, Mrs. Min had seen her distraught face as she was coming to Yunhi's room but stopped and thought to see what Wine do further. Oh no, not again. I am fed up of eating this fruit, she said, making an annoying face. But it's necessary for you, Unni, she said as she placed the plate on her lap and went to other side on bed, where medicine, bandage and other stuff was placed. One is right, Unni. Now stop winning and ate, saying that he took a piece of fruit and bringing near her lips, Wine turned her face and started to take out the ointment and other stuff needed to change the dressing. She then climbed on the bed and take Yuni's hand. Doctor had insisted to change the dressing 2 times a day, and it was Wine who was doing that since Uni came home. Not only that, she had taken responsibility of her medicine and food as well. Wine was so busy in her thought about Uni and Taehyung and what had Yun she said that she failed to notice his stare on her. Uni smiled and nudged Taehyung, who looked, and Uni sipped slowly and gestured her to eat her fruit, giving a strange look. Uni rolled her eyes, started eating the fruit while Wyan changed her dressing, and he just looked at Wyan from time to time. After Wyan is done, she placed everything back in place, threw old bandage in dustbin and went out of the room. He got a little worried because it was very unlike of Wyan to not sit here with Uni and talk those like she was doing since 4 days. He tells Uni that he will be back in some time and went after her. He saw Wyan going into kitchen and move ahead, and just then he saw his sister and brother-in-law entering. She said and looked hurried. He stepped toward him and hugged him. How is Yunhee now? Luna, what are you doing here? When you came, he said, breaking the hug. What do you mean what I am doing here? Do you think I would not have come when all this happened to Yuni? She said in anger. No, I didn't mean that, he said and then turned to his room. Yuni is fine. She's upstairs in her room. Suha moved toward the stair while Suga grabbed the young arm and take him to side. Don't tell me how all this happened. Mom didn't tell me everything. Suga is Yuni brother and Suha husband. Taeyong told him everything, that how Yuni called him her miscarriage, his conversation with Seojun and divorce, how Mr. Kim filed a domestic violence case against Seojun family, but Yunhee denied to do anything like that when lawyer came to take her signature to a day ago. What good it will do? I know Uncle Kim that she had hurt me and because of her I lost my baby. But by doing all this my baby won't come back. So just let it be. I want my family to move on back and forth to court because of this case, she said when Mr. Kim asked her to sign the paper. Uni was hurt very much, no doubt, but family respect was important to her. Kim's and Min's being a big name, it was sure that media would get hang of this and they will exaggerated it to no extent, and she didn't want that. Brother-in-law, you here, she said as she saw Suga standing beside Taeyong when she came out of kitchen. Is Uni here too? Yes, she went to meet Yunhee, he said and went upstairs. Taeyong and Wayan also followed them. Uni was hugging Soha and crying. Opa exclaiming Yunhee when she saw her brother and extended her arms toward him. Suga intensely moved toward her and hugged her, sitting beside her little sis. Oh, come on, Yun, you just renewed my hard work, he said, making sad face and then looked at Soha. Nuna, do you know how much effort it took me to make her smile and now again I have to remember all those mischievous memories to make her smile again. Shut up, Taeyong. You didn't even remember half of our childhood days, Uni. Do you know how bad his memory is? She said, turning to Soha. Soha smiled and then started to tease Taeyong about reminding him of his childhood days. Soha and Yun to take part in teasing, and Taeyong in return started to tell the embarrassing moment of his Uni, on which Soha got irritated and threw his pillow toward Taeyong and making Yun and Suga laugh. Wayne was standing on two sides seeing the banter. They all three were sharing. At the moment, she felt like an outsider, like she didn't belong here. She looked at Taeyong, who was smiling and talking. He never talked to me like this, never teased me like this, she thought sadly as tears started coming in her eyes. She quickly turned and went out of the room. 2 weeks later, what are you saying, Hannah? How is possible? She said, shocked at what Mrs. Min had said. What's wrong? I said, Lala, you know that Taeyong had always loved Uni and we all can see how much he cared for her, she said. Don't you see how much time he spent with her than his own wife? How happy he seems seeing Yun here. How angry he was when Yun didn't file the case. How worried he got when Yun went for her plastic surgery for her arm. What all this tell you? Lala, just tell me. Mrs. Kim too had noticed all this. Mrs. Min was right. Doug never wanted to get married to Ryan. You know, he only did because Mr. Kim asked him, or if I am right, forced him to do so, she said. But Tim would never agree to leave Ryan. I know my son. He takes his responsibility very seriously, Mrs. Kim said. So do you want your son to live his whole life with full just responsibility? Don't you want to see him happy, be loved, have kids? She said in hurried tone. And with mine, I cannot see that happiness in years. No, she thought. Look, Leila, Taeyong care for Ryan, but he doesn't love her. He is living his married life as a compromise. How long will this go on? He still loves Yoon, and I know he will be happy with her. My daughter did a mistake not to accept his proposal, but this time I won't let her have her say, she said in determined tone. You are right, Hannah, but I don't think I would agree to divorce Wine, she said. I know, that's why I think we should talk to Wine about this. We have to make her realize that he loved you, not her. How long will she wait for him? We had never seen them sharing things which husband-wife does. The only seems like a friend, not husband-wife. And when Ryan will agree for divorce, I am sure then Taeyong will agree too, she said. Okay, let's talk to Ryan. I want to see my son happy, not living a compromised life, she said. What are you saying, Mom? She said in a shock, hearing Mrs. Kim that she wanted to Taeyong and her to get divorced. Mrs. Kim had taken Ryan to her room to talk about it. Look, Ryan, you know that Taeyong loved you. I am sure he must have told you before you got too married, and he has been so happy and smiling since you came back. Don't tell me you haven't noticed that, she said. Wine didn't say anything, but tears came in her eyes. Yes, she cannot deny that she too had noticed the change in him for 2 weeks. How happy he seems. Most of the time he spent with you. Even take her out of garden for a walk and even took her out of dinner when doctor said that she can eat outside food, although Wine did accompany them, but she felt outsider again. I am sure my son have not even touched you in that sense. You know what I mean, right? She said. She was feeling somehow bad seeing her tear on Vine's face, but she had to do it for her son's happiness. Little did she know that she is crushing her son's happiness. She was right, thought Vine. All they shared was just a few hugs, not even a peck on cheek, which she had seen Yoon doing with him, although it was just a friendly gesture, but Vine couldn't help the jealousy she felt. I don't want my son to live a compromised married life. I know he cares for you, but he doesn't love you. Only care is not sufficient in a relationship, Ryan. How long you are going to wait for the young love? Are you even sure that he would start to love you? She said, he take you as a responsibility, nothing else. If you loved him, you will set him free to pursue his happiness, which is Yuni, not you. Look, Ryan, if you think that we are doing wrong with you, then isn't the case. We are just telling you the reality, she said, who was all quiet all the time. This type of relationship doesn't go on for a long. You are educated and mature woman. You think about what we had said. We only want happiness of our children. Ryan, who was looking down all the while, just nodded her head a little and went out of the Mrs. Kim room. She went upstairs to her room but didn't find Taeyong. She went to look for him and found him in Yunhee room having dinner with her while chatting animatedly. She couldn't stop her tear and went out from there.